What's going on, everybody? Welcome once again to the Curtain Call Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, your boy, the Spanish Fly, always with me, my tag team partner, the best tag team partner. Now we can call him the the 10th wonder of the world. No, that belonged to China. The 11th wonder of the world, Nacho. Nacho, tell him what's good, baby.
What's up, everybody? We are back in Ready to Rumble.
Let's
This is,
rumble, rumble, rumble. I'm
I'm so
excited
excited.
for this Saturday. I'm excited for tomorrow. I'm excited for tonight, SmackDown, but I'm excited for Saturday. How are you feeling about it?
The Rumble is what got me into wrestling. And I've just been obsessed with it ever since. I cannot wait for this Rumble. I am a little worried because I feel like there's a limited amount of spots this year. And I feel like if of any year that at least I've seen, this is the year that maybe they should have added on a couple extra slots to add in some space to let some of the other members of the roster that maybe don't have huge storylines going on right now fit in. But we will talk about that later on, getting into our predictions.
Yeah, this rumble is stacked. Number one, um, and I agree with you. If any rumble should have 40 men, it's this year. That being said, I hope there's not a lot of spots given to people that you know for a fact is not going to win the Rumble. Because with all the
Pat McAfee.
guys that can win this Rumble, they should be able to put on a great Rumble for the men. That being said,
Mhm.
Nacho, man, let's get right into it. First topic, what we got?
First topic, we are going to get into this tag match. The tag titles being held currently by DIY. The Motor City Machine Guns are going to be challenging them to possibly win back their titles. I'm honestly not super hyped for this match. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like some some of my predictions with this match could be influenced by whatever happens on SmackDown tonight, because these people are on SmackDown. Other people who might be gunning for this title are also on SmackDown, so we could be seeing some development with it tonight. Especially, I think there is a tag match with like Pretty Deadly tonight as well, so we could be seeing some extra influence going into this match. Personally, I don't think the titles are going to swap hands. I think this is either going to be a clean finish or it's going to be a like a draw where possibly a team that we haven't seen on TV for a while, the Street Profits, may get involved. Maybe they'll actually try to turn them heel again, and maybe they'll get involved, and it'll cost Motor City Machine Guns the win, allowing DIY to retain without actually having to have a clean finish. Like I said, there's a lot of different situations or different like outcomes I could see for this match. I really don't see DIY dropping the titles with how hot they are as heels right now. And I think there's a lot more development that you could have with some of the other people in this feud that's been, or like this kind of back and forth that's been going on, especially with Pretty Deadly because they've been getting a lot of time. So my prediction is that the titles are going to stay the same.
I like your theory. I like your output on the match, and I can see that happening. I really like that, and it also saves the Motor City Machine Guns by losing not cleanly, especially if somebody gets involved. That being
Mm-hmm.
said, I think Lucas Oil Stadium is going to be going crazy for DIY. They're only about 4 hours away from Detroit. I mean,
Yeah.
going crazy for the Motor City Machine Guns. They're only about 4 hours away from Detroit. Um, I got the Motor City Machine Guns recapturing these tag titles, but I like your theory a lot.
Mm-hmm. I
It's
would be
not,
fine if they. Yeah, I'd be fine with that.
and the only reason I'm not changing my pick is because I got a bet going on with my son,
Mm-hmm.
and it'll ruin the bet. I
Okay.
really like the way you broke it down. It makes a lot of sense, especially with so many tag teams that are involved in this tag title picture. I can see that happening where later on, maybe at Elimination Chamber, you got the tag
Mm-hmm.
titles on the line and you got the chamber stacked with, tag guys. We've
Yeah, like
seen
they
it
did at
before.
WrestleMania.
And Yeah, and I think that'll be good. I would like to see Motor City Machine Guns, DIY, Pretty Deadly, the Street Profits, all in the elimination chamber for the tag titles. That'll be awesome. Um, or to see who's going to be the number one contender. That'll be great. But
Yep.
DIY retaining, I wouldn't be mad at that idea the way you broke it down. But I do have the Motor City Machine Guns taking back them titles. What's the next one?
Next up, the only other match that has been announced for this card, I don't know if they'll throw in one more just to cushion the show runtime a little bit more tonight, but it is the um, double world championship ladder match between Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes. I'm pretty excited for this match. I think
Yes.
what they've been doing with Kevin Owens has been incredible, kind of making him this. At first, he seemed kind of crazy, but then the more he talks, the more he brings around this title that he believes he's won. People start believing him. People start siding with him. He's not technically wrong with some of his points. But then you also have Cody, who's also defending the show, defending the roster from this madman in his eyes, but also someone who was formerly his friend. I'm excited for this not only because of all that going on, but also because it's a ladder match, and I haven't gotten to see many ladder matches outside of like Money in the Bank. Just in my time watching, so I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see some of the spots they could do. I also think we could have some appearances in this, although I do believe it's going to be a clean finish in the end because that's been one of the biggest driving factors in this feud has been the non-clean finishes, the holding back on people and not really giving it your all. I think the finish is going to be clean and I think it's going to be Cody retaining, but I think we will see at least one or two people, which I'll go into after you give your prediction.
With the rumors going around the new world heavyweight title being presented, um, that's why the unification of these two titles. I don't see WWE giving that honor to Kevin Owens. I think Cody Rhodes retains. I think it's going to be a great match. Nacho, I'm going to tell you something, man, and it's probably not a popular. Uh, it's probably not popular what I'm about to say,
Mm-hmm.
but I've enjoyed this feud better than Cody and Roman Reigns.
Yeah,
The reason being is because it's so personal.
and
The
it's
the
also on
Roman
TV every
Reigns,
week.
and the Roman Reigns, it was more about him never losing the title and Cody just coming up short and
Mm-hmm.
chasing him. This story's personal.
Yeah,
From the use of illegal moves, banned moves from the WWE, from eliminating, getting rid of Randy Orton for a while. There's so many variables to this storyline that I think it's to me since Cody's return to the WWE, it's by far, in my opinion, my favorite feud that he's had. It's better than the Seth Rollins. It's better than the Roman Reigns. This feud is really good, and I love the way they planted the seed with the CM Punk going forward. I
mm-hmm.
think you're right. I think it's going to be a clean finish. Cody wins. I think there might be some shenanigans going on during this match, but I think at the end, Cody climbs that ladder and he grabs both titles, man. And I think he wins it. I really do.
Yeah. I think I think that this is where Cody and Kevin's feud ends tonight. Especially being the fact that Kevin will most likely lose the belt. Cody will go on to retain and have his next feud. I think that this is going to go into a feud that I believe we've talked about before, but I've never personally gotten to see. People who are familiar with Kevin Owens and his former best friend, also from Canada, uh, are aware of their feuds from the past. I think that Sami Zayn is going to show up at some point in this match. I think that the show tomorrow is going to open with the men's rumble. I believe we'll see Sami maybe early on in the rumble, but I think he's going to get taken out at least halfway through the match, if not the last, like the third quarter of the match. We're going to see Sammy, the camera's going to track him for a minute. We're going to see him look broken, hollowed out. Okay. He lost his shot at main eventing WrestleMania. He lost his shot at getting a world title shot at WrestleMania. Um, and they're going to leave it at that. I think, especially with the tease that Kevin had in the recent promo with Sammy, um, was it when Sammy kicked Cody in the face? Um, I think that we're going to see Sammy show up, and Kevin's going to assume that he's going to have his back because he told him, if I win, you'll get your title shot. I'll help you get your title shot. You'll get your shot at WrestleMania. I think that when Sammy shows up, he may be leaning that way at first, craving that main event status, that main event match. But I think that his morals will win over, and in the end, he will leave Kevin, maybe distracting him for a moment, which allows Cody to get the upper hand, maybe do a move on Kevin that allows him to gain the momentum to climb the ladder. Something like that, I believe that we're going to see him show up in the match. We might also see Randy Orton, but I don't think that if they're doing the clean route, I don't think they're gonna have like Randy do a move on Kevin or Sammy do a move on Kevin, because then he'll just say somebody interfered and you took the titles. But I think at least they'll have a moment where he shows up, you have them interact, looking at each other. Sammy leaves, Cody wins. I don't know. That was my big brainstorm today when I was at work. I don't know how you think,
You
how
know,
you feel about that.
this match might be the most that we talk about because I understand where you're going with it, but to me, if they're gonna first off, if the men start off tomorrow, the Rumble,
Mm-hmm.
if the men's Royal Rumble starts off tomorrow, it doesn't make sense for Randy Orton to be in that Rumble
Fair.
because the person that took him out is Kevin Owens, and if he comes back, he's coming back to get Kevin. That's who he's
True.
going after. It makes no sense for Randy to make his return in the Rumble. Yeah, he gets a pop, he gets eliminated. His first thought should the way Randy acts, his first thought is, I'm getting my hands on Kevin. Get my hands on Kevin. The other thing, if they do start it off and Sami Zayn gets eliminated and he's ejected and they follow him and he's pissed off and all that, with more reason, that's why I put on this paper, Sami Zayn turns heel tomorrow. I believe Sami Zayn is going to turn heel.
Mm-hmm.
Will he align himself with Kevin Owens? Probably. But I think that's one of the surprises that we're going to get tomorrow. Sammy turns heel. Sammy probably helps Kevin try to win it. You know how WWE loves making tag team matches right before, Cody having to defend the title. They'll probably have him tag with somebody, with the guy that he's challenging at WrestleMania. Um,
True.
I don't know, but I feel that Sammy is going to turn heel. I've said
Yeah.
it before. I believe the WWE is going to make this new world order. I believe Drew McIntyre is going to be in there. Kevin's going to be in there. I've been saying Seth Rollins. Last week, seeing Sammy mess up again, I believe it's going to be Sami Zayn that becomes a member. So it's an interesting thing. The fact still remains. I think Cody walks out as the WWE champion. I don't see him dropping this title, but I can't wait to see this fight. I love
Yep.
the way they've been promoting this fight. I love the way they've been building up to this fight. Like I said, it's been super personal, and I'm excited to see it. I'm really excited to see this match. And um, typically in the Rumble, there's not a singles match that one is excited to see because your focus is the Rumble, the Rumble, the Rumble. This match might steal the show, in my
Yeah.
opinion. So we'll see. We both got Cody in different ways, but we'll see what happens. We'll definitely be talking about it right after the Rumble. But yep, I think Cody climbs the ladder, unifies the title, and is still your WWE champ.
But does Kevin Owens come out in gold face paint with either a blonde wig like
Wow.
Goldust or a black star like Stardust? That would be the
I wouldn't
ultimate
put it
troll.
past him, man. He's
That would
been
be
trolling
awesome.
like crazy, so I wouldn't
I
put it
would
past him.
love
But
that
yeah, that's it's gonna be interesting. I'm excited to see. Does he come out in polka dots? Who knows?
in my eyes.
Who knows? What's next?
I don't know. Next up, we're going to go over the Royal Rumble and some of our predictions, okay? So we are going to start off with the women's Royal Rumble match. We are going to go one by one and show our picks for the final five women. Both of us went ahead and picked up who we think are going to be the final five in the match. And then we're also going to talk a little bit about maybe some other surprises we might see, some people we hope to see that haven't already been announced for the match. So I'm going to start with my final five, okay? My final five have almost all not been announced. To go through them real quick, I picked Alexa Bliss, Jordan Grace, Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, and either Julia or Stephanie Vaquer from NXT. Okay, these are all big names in themselves, and from other companies as well. I mean, from like the all over the world. So we have Becky Lynch returning. They've been teasing this for a while. It's all but confirmed at this point. Um, Definitely would like to see her come back, hungry for another match for the title that she lost to Rhea. She lost it to Rhea, right? Or did she have to get rid of that? She lost it
I
at Mania.
I thought she. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Alexa Bliss. I have not gotten to see much of Alexa Bliss other than a couple clips on YouTube that I've seen of her with the Wyatts. I think this would, if this is her big return, have her come out, have her show. You don't need to fully show that she's a part of the Wyatts right now. Maybe let her be a single star for a little bit and then build on that and allow them to build that storyline. Final Five is a big thing for her. Charlotte Flair, she's already announced. She's another main contender for the main event world championship area. Definitely think she's going to be up there, especially because most likely whoever wins this match is going after Rhea Ripley, and Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair are both women that Rhea Ripley has had major title matches against and won the title from. Julia and Stephanie Vaquer, they're huge names that have been going crazy in NXT right now. They had large status in New Japan. Are they both from New Japan, or is Stephanie from Mexico?
Stephanie has wrestled in New Japan, but she's from MLW. I mean MMLW, which is Mexico, the
Okay, cool. Yeah,
Mexico Wrestling Organization.
I think these would be cool. I mean, first off, they're big draws from both of those companies for people who were fans of them. They'd be tuning in, they'd be excited. Also, it's a nice way to bring them up from NXT into this match, maybe send them back down, but then they have that interaction. Jordan Grace is, again, all but confirmed. Her tenure in TNA is over. Her contract is through, and this is going to be her debut in WWE. She was just the women's champion in TNA. I think that she's up there for uh, women's champion status in WWE. And my crazy pick of the night, you may think I'm crazy for this one. I'm picking Jordan Grace to win the Royal Rumble. Okay? Hear me out. Okay? These are big names I've been going through, okay? WWE just signed a major contract with TNA to have a huge crossover and all these different promotions with them. Although she's no longer with TNA, what bigger draw to have her come in with a bang, especially someone who looks the way she does. She's huge. She looks awesome. She knows how to move in the ring. Have her win the Rumble. and let her fight Rhea Ripley. How incredible of a match would that be at WrestleMania? Jordynne Grace versus Rhea Ripley. Now, you may call me crazy because this is her debut in WWE and she automatically wins. I don't know. I would be excited if any of these 5 women won. I guess 6 technically because I kind of cheated, but I don't know. That was my pick. I feel like if they want to create something crazy with this women's match, that was my choice. So, you have any comments on my picks before we go into yours?
No, I'll comment when I give mine.
Okay, we're gonna jump into yours then.
Bam! Those are my 5. We got Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, Jordynne Grace, Roxanne Perez, and Alexa Bliss. So very similar.
Hmm.
The only one is I have Roxanne and you don't.
Yep.
I don't think because one is the NXT champion, the other one's going after the other NXT title. I think Roxanne Perez would be the one that goes into the Rumble and has a strong showing. You said you can call me crazy, but I think Jordynne Grace. I'm gonna call you crazy because Charlotte Flair is winning this Rumble, and Charlotte Flair is not going after Rhea Ripley. We have been saying it
Ooh.
for a long time. Charlotte Flair, we want Charlotte and Tiffany at WrestleMania. Charlotte Flair is going after Tiffany. That match is going to be a banger.
Yeah.
So everybody keeps talking about Rhea Ripley, Rhea Ripley, Rhea Ripley, but everyone's forgetting Tiffy time. And to tell you the truth, I think Tiffany will put on a better match than Rhea Ripley. We've seen Charlotte and Rhea
Ooh.
at 2 WrestleManias. We've
Yeah.
already seen it. We've already seen it. I want to see Charlotte Flair versus Tiffany at WrestleMania. I think that match will be great. Now, I do agree with you on something that WWE should do something great with TNA. But the issue is that Jordynne Grace is no longer in TNA.
Yeah.
So if Jordynne Grace was to win, it isn't that they're putting over a TNA woman
They're
because
putting
she's
over
already in the
themselves.
WWE.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make any sense. Um, I do like the fact that maybe she could win an elimination chamber, go on to WrestleMania against Rhea Ripley. That
Yeah.
okay, yeah, I like that.
Maybe
But
she's
I
like
think
top
that
2. Maybe
there's
she's the last 2,
yeah,
and then she
yeah.
goes on. Okay.
But I think that Becky Lynch, we can't look past Becky Lynch. We all know that she's a bona fide star. They're
Hmm.
they're probably going to want to put the title on her soon. Um, but you could create storylines with these last few women
Yeah.
where okay, Becky doesn't win, but you know what? She's going after that. I don't know. Maybe she gets kicked out she gets thrown out and she's mad, and I'm going after the United States title. You know,
She goes
just
after
something
Lyra.
else. Who know? Yeah, who knows? So I think that we see that. Now Alexa Bliss was my long shot because we haven't
Hmm.
seen her in a long time. Of course, she had the baby, but she's having contract things that she's wanting.
Yeah.
Um, so it doesn't look like it's happening right now. But if it does, I mean that's why I put her on there. But now, if we can go into who we might think show up at the Rumble, it
Hmm.
could change one of these 5 women and
Maybe.
put someone else in that place. You talked about TNA.
Hmm.
What better for years now? Everybody has been talking about this person. The reason being is because there's already a story there. And I'm talking about Tessa Blanchard. The
Okay.
reason why I'm talking about Tessa Blanchard is because Tessa Blanchard just recently came back to TNA. Now, Nacho, I don't know if you know this, but Tessa Blanchard was the first female to become the TNA World Heavyweight Champion. Before Jordynne Grace did it, it was Tessa Blanchard. Tessa Blanchard just beat Jordynne Grace in her last match in TNA at their last pay-per-view.
Hmm.
The reason I said that there's already a story there is because Tessa Blanchard and Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair being the daughter of Ric Flair, the leader of the Four Horsemen, and Tessa Blanchard being the daughter of Tully Blanchard, one of the original members of the Four Horsemen. So she's a horsewoman already.
Hmm.
There is a story there. I think we could see Tessa Blanchard. Um, I think we could see Indy Hartwell is in Indiana right now. They got that
Yep.
Comic-Con that's going on, and Indy Hartwell was spotted over there.
Yep.
And I believe that we're going to see the return of Jay Cargill. Um,
Yes.
I want
Yes.
to put in parentheses, my son told me that he has a feeling, and I hope he's wrong. He has a feeling that Ronda Rousey's going to show up in this Rumble. So if it
No. No.
does
No. No. No.
happen,
No.
we got to give him if it does happen,
She.
we got to give King Nahi a shout out. But if it doesn't happen, we're definitely going to give him a shout out saying, "Ha, I told you it wasn't happening." But he thinks Ronda Rousey, but I don't want to see that. But I'll
You
be
want to know?
reminiscent to not say it.
You want to know a fact that's gonna make you say "ha ha" a little fast?
What's that?
She just had a baby like a week ago.
Oh, well, that's great. She's not coming. King Nahi, you're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. Get out of here. She ain't coming to the Rumble. But those are my predictions. And there's one special super surprise that I think is going to show up in this Rumble for some reason. I got this feeling. I got this itch like I've never had before. AJ Lee, the wife of CM Punk.
Yeah.
I think she makes a surprise appearance at this year's Women's Royal Rumble. And when her music hits, that place guaranteed is going to go insane, and that will be the pop of the night. That'll definitely be the pop of the night. So we'll see what happens. Who you got as surprises coming?
I don't know. I see. I'm not super familiar with people who either are not in the company right now or are not, or in other companies. So I'm not familiar
Could
at
we
all
see
with TNA.
Nacho? Could we see a Britt Baker?
Possibly. I mean, especially after those phone calls that possibly leaked with Tony Khan. We could see Britt Baker. I would not be surprised if we saw AJ Lee with how much Punk has been he's been teasing a little too much in my opinion. He's been whispering to the interview crews anytime they walk by the past couple of days. So that would be interesting.
The reason I'm saying Britt Baker is because now there's no 90-day clause. It's
I know,
against the
yeah.
law to have a 90-day clause.
So
It could happen.
Yeah. There's a couple of other rumblings I've been hearing of people who want to head to WWE, but I don't think in terms of women there are any that I've seen where they've left. It was just people saying they were interested. So I have one other prediction for somebody now that you mentioned that 90-day clause when we get into the men. But in terms of women, there's not enough that I know outside of WWE or that would be returning for me to have like a standard or like to just have predictions on that one. I had a couple more with the men that I've seen from other companies. So if you want to jump into men, we're going to start with your final five.
All right, my final five. There you have it. CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, the GOAT, John Cena, Seth Rollins, AJ Styles. I think AJ Styles comes back to the Rumble, entering the Rumble. I think this is in a stacked Rumble. And you know what? You can't whoever has Roman Reigns in their last five, you can't go wrong with that neither. I mean, it's a stacked Rumble. These are just the five that I had. The reason being is because Cena is not going to win the Rumble. I think they're going to milk this return as much as they can.
Yep.
Have them go through and I've said it on the podcast before, have them go through every single obstacle of him trying to become that 17-time champion and break the record. And he comes up short every single time. And the last opportunity for him to main event something, I think that's when he gets it. That being said, I think CM Punk wins it. I think you can set up a Drew McIntyre and CM Punk feud, a Drew McIntyre and a John Cena feud. I think you could set up an AJ Styles and Seth Rollins feud. There's so much you can do with these last 5 guys. Um, but I think it's CM Punk's year. I think he wins the Rumble.
Okay.
Do I go into? Do you want me to wait for you to do yours before I talk who I think might show? Yeah,
Yeah,
let's do that.
we'll
Let's go to
close out with
yours.
some
Let's go to
predictions.
yours.
All right, are you ready? I didn't tell you mine ahead of time. You told me yours. Boom. My final five. Somewhat similar to yours. Got two of the same people, but I see The Rock, Roman Reigns, and Joe Hendry being in there in that final five. Call me crazy again, but we were just talking about that TNA partnership, and you were talking about feuds that we could see developing from these final five people, okay? I'm going to agree with you on the fact that Punk wins. I think Punk is going to win. We'll get that out of the way. Joe Hendry just won the TNA World Championship. Who was the first person that he called out on Busted Open
Cena.
podcast?
Cena.
So I think one of them is going to eliminate each other in this match. That'll lead to a crossover, either in TNA or bringing TNA into WWE. That's my thought on that one. I think The Rock has to be in this Rumble. Unless they're
Does
really
he?
shifting away from The Rock for the next year, I think The Rock should be in the Rumble, maybe even at spot number 31, where he has to be that extra person. Maybe tease that there's going to be 40, but he is that sole 31. He's the one person, because he's so high up in the board, that he can make his own spot
The final
on the Rumble
boss.
number. Yep. He is going to come in. I think he'll have an interaction with Roman, maybe with the other Bloodline members. Roman has to be up there as well. They're going to tease another Roman Cody feud, but in the end, it's CM Punk who wins. Now, something you did not mention that I don't actually fully have a prediction of what I think this is going to play into as well. CM Punk still has a favor from Mr. Paul Heyman, who has his sticky little fingers in a bunch of different places on this WWE roster. A lot of influence he has, especially being in the Bloodline, being with CM Punk, and being with Mr. Brock Lesnar. If he shows up, he should not be named. But yeah, that's my final five. I went back and forth on this a couple times. I had Randy in place of The Rock. So if The Rock doesn't show, I would definitely substitute Randy in that final five. Um, but yeah, that is my pick. If you want to go into a couple possible surprise entrants, the hard part for me with the surprise entrance that I was trying to think of was that there's 15 people already announced. Half of the slots have already been announced, and that only leaves 15 other slots to
You're
be
right.
in this Rumble. And only 3 of the people in this final 5 were people who were announced. Um, sure, that leaves space for people to still have room to pop in, but it doesn't leave a lot of room if they are having TNA crossovers or other people coming from NXT. That's why I was really hoping they would announce that it was going to be 40 people this year, just because there's so many names and a lot of names are going to be left out. We know that Penta is going to be featured in here, and it's been talked about that he's going to have a pretty prevalent role. He's going to get a lot of spots. That's at least what I'm hearing. I think we could possibly see, if they want to bring him in because the 90-day clause is not happening now, if his contract really is over, you could see Rey Fenix in here, but I think that would honestly take away from Penta. Leave him on his own for now, the way that they're promoting him. He's on the main poster in the WWE shop in Indianapolis next to like Roman and Bianca. Or is CM Punk and Bianca and him? Leave him on his own. He's their number one selling person right now, or he was. Um, Joe Hendry was another surprise that I threw in there. I think would be coming from TNA. The Hardy brothers are both in Indianapolis for the con that's down the street. I think at least one of them should show up. Maybe Matt Hardy. Even though Jeff is definitely, I think, a bigger draw. I think having Matt show up and then maybe Jeff show up later on would be cool. And then I also think Matt Cardona could possibly be making an appearance. The Indie King himself. I think that would be pretty cool to see him show up there. Someone else, I'm not sure if he's currently employed by them still or not, by AEW, but just recently I saw an interview with Danhausen. I don't know if you caught that.
Yeah, I did
It
on
was the
Chris
man
Van Vliet.
under the makeup. I don't know if he's still currently employed by AEW, but if he's not, he's been doing great on the indies. He's been making himself known. I'm not sure where he would really fit in WWE if he did make an appearance, but I think it would be cool to see him as well. Just because I've met him, I was a big fan of him when he was in AEW for the little time he was there. Um, so yeah, let's hear what you think for some possible surprises, because you know more of these
So
other people than I do.
all good picks. There are a couple people that I think from from um from TNA. I think we could see someone like Ace Austin or Trey Miguel. Moose is one that has been rumored a bunch of times since
Saw his name.
TNA started dealing with WWE. I
Mhm.
have on here as well Matt Cardona.
Yep.
He's in Indianapolis, obviously. Um, I also have on here from AEW Alistair Black.
Yes.
I
Saw
don't
him
know what his
rumored.
situation really is with AEW, but they even kind of hinted at him with when what's his name? Chad Gable was trying to find,
He
the
got,
best,
yeah, from Dom,
yeah, from Dominic. And that's kind of the name that Zelina Vega and Alistair Black have for their wrestling school.
and she
I
just got
also
moved to
have on
SmackDown too.
here Ilya Dragunov.
Yep.
I think he can finally come back. I also have, for storyline purposes, Big E.
Ooh. See, I had one of the New Day on there. I'll let you say why, but I also, when I was going through trying to make a list, I had Kofi in my like roster that I kind of built up.
Yeah, I have Big E there just for that New Day.
Mhm.
Um, and the last person I have as far as a surprise, I don't know why. Corey Graves. We know we're going to see Pat McAfee. They're in Indianapolis, his hometown. He used to play there.
If he
But I,
shows up, he needs to actually do something because I love Pat. But last year when he took someone's spot, he showed up and he just walked himself out of the ring. It was funny for a
yeah,
second, but then it
and
was like, come
and
on,
that's
dude.
and that's what I don't like. I don't, and to tell you the truth, I don't want to see Pat in the Rumble. But because they're in Indianapolis, he's going to be in the Rumble. But
Yeah.
I have this. There's a certain look when Corey Graves made that comment on his ex account, about not being told that he's good enough and this and that. And
Hmm.
you listen to NXT tonight, I got something to say. And then he was sent home. And then
Yep.
all of a sudden, the following week, they open up NXT and he's like, I'm right here where I want to be and I'm happy. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, oh man, somebody got some paper
Yeah.
thrown at them. But they probably also told him, hey, you want to go back to wrestling?
Yeah.
Um, his injury was just like a lot of guys that been out of wrestling for a long time, and then all of a sudden they're cleared by doctors. So I can see them saying, "Hey, you know what? Go into the Rumble." So I have Corey Graves on there. I have Corey Graves on there. But
If
at
they
the end
do
of the day, it
Corey,
still doesn't change the fact that I got CM Punk winning it.
oh yeah, CM Punk's winning for sure. If they do Corey, it would be interesting if maybe when he gets eliminated, Pat throws a little shade or something, makes a comment, and Corey goes off on him or something on the side. You start to see him crack. They play into that a little bit, like that he can't keep his composure.
Well,
That could be interesting.
but Nacho, why can't Pat McAfee come in first, and then Corey Graves is the next entry, and Corey Graves throws Pat McAfee out?
You want to take two of those 15
And then as he's
spots?
talking trash to Pat McAfee, you get Dominic Mysterio. But as soon as he's
Maybe.
talking trash to Pat McAfee about, whatever, you get somebody like Dominic Mysterio to throw Corey Graves out of the ring. It
Maybe.
gets super heat on Dominic, but then
Yeah.
who knows? We might be able to have a special match at Mania with the
Maybe.
battle of the commentators, Corey Graves and Pat McAfee. We seen
That
it
would
with
be
Michael
cool.
Cole and Jerry the King Lawler a few years ago.
Yeah. They showed the pictures of him. Pat was talking about his physique. One other crazy
So
prediction I'm gonna throw out for you, just based on his recent post on X. Okay, I don't know how closely you follow Big Bronson Reed, and I've been saying some crazy predictions tonight. Okay, but this one is probably maybe my craziest. I'm holding out hope that we are gonna see the big man himself, the
he
Ozilla,
could.
the Tsunami King, Big Bronson Reed. Okay, he he's been posting pictures past couple days of his leg, and he's been saying that he's been taking it easy, still can like barely walk on his leg. He also, about a week or two ago, tweeted the date of the Rumble, just the date, and said things change. If he shows up, you know I'm
Be
gonna
very
run out the
impressed.
door and scream. Okay, that's my man. Not only would it be impressive, okay, I would be so hyped because I have been missing him. I know that match that Jacob Fatu had was definitely supposed to have him involved in it against Braun Strowman. Okay, having him back would be so good. But if he's not, I hope he's healing and he gets better when and doesn't rush into it and re-injure himself or something. But if he shows up, as much as I would need the booster because my man Andrade, my other man, there's limited spots, and I don't know if he's going to make it in the Rumble. Sadly,
Ladies and gentlemen,
that's my
watching
final
the
prediction.
ladies and gentlemen watching the Curtain Call podcast, all our fans out there, I promise you that we will teach Nacho how to express his feelings towards these wrestlers. Because I think calling him my man is not the way you want to say it. He's a star
In my eyes,
in your
they
eyes.
both are.
Oh, Nitro. I am super psyched for this Saturday at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. Are you guys ready? It's the 2025 Royal Rumble. It's amazing um how long the Royal Rumble has been going for. I think that when you look at it, the first one was in 1988, and to me, I just think I think it's incredible that it's been going on this long. Um, I love the Royal Rumble. It's one of my favorite. It's by far one of my favorite WWE pay per views. Um, and it also sets up. It sets up for the push to WrestleMania because now everything speeds up. Us wrestling fans know that right after SummerSlam, a pay per view after SummerSlam, it kind of dies down. It's like the off season, and we all know that wrestlers don't have off seasons, especially WWE. They just been kicking it every gear all the time. But the storylines kind of drop a little bit. They kind of like coast themselves. They like lay on their surfboard and just go through the waves. And as soon as Rumble comes, they hop up on that board and they're ready to take a big surf. So I'm excited. So this year's Royal Rumble tomorrow night at a special time, 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on the Peacock, on Netflix, everywhere else in the world. An amazing time. So to give you a quick recap, we have um, the tag titles. I said Motor City Machine Guns was going to win, retain. You said that they will lose, that DIY retains. We both have Cody Rhodes winning the match. For the women's, my top five was Charlotte, Becky, Alexa Jordan and Roxanne, with Charlotte winning and going on to fight Tiffany Stratton. Your top 5 was anyone from the NXT girls, Stephanie or what's her name? Julia, Becky Lynch, Jordan Grace, um, Alexa Bliss, and Charlotte Flair. You have Jordan Grace winning and going on to fight Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. For the men's, I had CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, John Cena, AJ Styles, and crazy old Seth freaking Rollins, with CM Punk winning. And you have on your 5 The Rock, Roman. You got to believe in Joe Hendry, CM Punk, and John Cena, with you having CM Punk winning the Rumble. Although you said, hey, Joe Henry wins, that's
Joe Henry's not
yo,
going to
can
win.
you
He's
imagine?
just going to fight Cena.
Okay, can you imagine if he wins?
That would be
For a
actually
second,
crazy.
think about that for a second.
Think about the
That's
pop.
insane. I don't know. That's kind of woo.
If you believe hard
We
enough.
have a couple surprise entries. I thought AJ Lee for the women's could show up. Jay Cargill, Tessa Blanchard, Indy Hartwell. You had a few that you thought could show up. You agreed with the Jay Cargill. For the men, we had Ilya Dragunov. I said Big E and Corey Graves, Ace Austin, Trey Miguel, Aleister Black, Matt Cardona, Moose. I think it's going to be an amazing Rumble.
Yep.
And I think that whatever happens, if our predictions are completely wrong, one thing for sure is that we are very, very, very well going to be entertained this Saturday. So I'm excited. Any final thoughts before we get out of here, Nacho?
Nah, I'm just excited for this. I love the Rumble. I hope you all have a great time watching it. I'm excited for the follow-up to this going into Mania season. And I hope you all are ready for some great content coming from the Curtain Call podcast.
Absolutely. Be looking out for a video. We're going to try to put a video out either Sunday or Monday. Hopefully Sunday in the evening, we can put a video out talking about the Rumble. I would really love to do that. So for everyone that tuned in to watch us, we truly appreciate it. Make sure you click on the subscribe button. If you haven't by now, click on that notification bell so you get updates on every time we either go live or put up a new video. Follow our social media, Instagram, X, TikTok, Facebook. Follow us. Give us some show ideas. Leave your comments down below who you think your top 5 are. And we'll make sure that we give you a shout out next time that we are doing a video or going live. So, like we always do here at the Curtain Call Podcast, if you got it, throw it up in 2, sweet me, baby. And remember that here at the Curtain Call Podcast, we always kick out at 2. Talk to you later. Happy Rumble weekend.